Breaking news here on Apple out of the DOJ. Eamon Javers has it. Eamon?
Sarah, this is a civil antitrust lawsuit filed in the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey, and it alleges by the DOJ that Apple illegally maintains a monopoly over smartphones by selectively imposing contractual restrictions on and withholding critical access points from developers. The Department of Justice alleges Apple has broken the law, specifically Section 2 of the Sherman Antitrust Act, in 5 specific ways. One, by blocking innovative super apps. They say Apple has disrupted the growth of apps with broad functionality. The second is by suppressing mobile cloud streaming services. They say Apple blocked the development of cloud streaming apps and services that would allow consumers to enjoy what they call high-quality video games and other cloud-based applications without having to pay for expensive smartphone hardware. The third is by excluding cross-platform messaging apps. The Department of Justice says Apple has made the quality of cross-platform messaging worse, less innovative, and less secure for users so that its customers have to keep buying iPhones. The fourth is by diminishing the functionality of non-Apple smartwatches. Apple, they say, has limited the functionality of these third-party smartwatches so that users who purchase the Apple Watch face substantial out-of-pocket costs if they don't keep buying iPhones. And the fifth category here is limiting third-party digital wallets. They say Apple has prevented third-party apps from offering tap-to-pay functionality, inhibiting the creation of cross-platform third-party digital wallets, which, of course, is important in the whole paying ecosystem here. Now, the court process is expected to take months, if not years here. And guys, there's a political overlay to all of this, because if President Biden is to lose to Donald Trump in the fall, it's a Trump Department of Justice that could be in charge of handling the end game of this case, not a Biden one, depending on that election outcome. So it's not at all clear how that would play out, although some of the Trump people were involved in instigating this investigation into Apple in the first place back during the first Trump administration. So a lot of moving parts here, guys. But the Department of Justice now suing Apple on antitrust grounds. Back over to you.
Right. So they started looking into this in 2019 under the first Trump administration. And really, Eamon, it's part of a number of monopoly cases. Or David laughed at that. Yeah. The original Trump administration.
Are you predicting something already?
Nope, just stating facts. Eamon, the part of the other monopoly cases I was going to bring up against other big tech companies, Amazon, Alphabet, they've all been filed as well.
Yeah, and I think if you talk to the people at the Department of Justice, what folks involved here have told me is that they view this really as about the App Store, right? You've got Google and Android apps, and you've got Apple apps, and those two vectors are really the only way for every other company to get to market here. And there's a lot of concern on antitrust grounds that that's just not enough, that if those two companies control the gateway for apps to get through to consumers for every other company, ours included presumably, then they can exert monopolistic power over those apps. And there's a couple of reasons why Apple might want to do that, right? Because if you're in the business of selling expensive hardware like iPhones, you don't necessarily have an incentive to want apps that don't use the iPhone or use compute power that's bigger than what's available on the iPhone. So you think about cloud-based apps or AI-based apps or what they call super apps that use multiple apps within one and allow somebody else to be the gatekeeper there. All of that is something that Apple has an incentive to keep control over. But I think what we're looking at here, guys, is the very early stages now. We'll see the official announcement coming up shortly. And then the very early stages now of what will be a months and years long legal battle between Apple and the United States government.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I mean, and you said it, years most likely, right? If history proves any guide here, given Microsoft and everything else.
Yeah, and one excerpt here, David, from the case that gives you a sense of the tone from the Department of Justice. They say, rather than respond to competitive threats by offering lower smartphone prices to consumers or better monetization for developers, Apple would meet competitive threats by imposing a series of shape-shifting rules and restrictions in its App Store guidelines and developer agreements that would allow Apple to extract higher fees, thwart innovation, offer a less secure or degraded user experience, and throttle competitive alternatives. So you get a sense of exactly what the DOJ is going after there.
All right, Eamon, stand by. Let's get over to Steve Kovach. He's got more on what it means for the company itself with the stock down 2.5%. Steve.
Yeah, David, I actually got a statement here from Apple responding to the DOJ's lawsuit. I'll go ahead and read it out loud here for you. Quote, at Apple, we innovate every day to make technology people love, designing products that work seamlessly together, protect people's privacy and security, and create a magical experience for our users. This lawsuit threatens who we are and the principles that set Apple products apart in the fiercely competitive markets. If successful, it would hinder our ability to create the kind of technology people expect from Apple, where hardware, software, and services intersect. It would also set a dangerous precedent, empowering government to take a heavy hand in designing people's technology. We believe this lawsuit is wrong on the facts and the law, and we will vigorously defend it. And just some other interesting things here, David and Sarah, that stuck out to me. By the way, I'm looking at some excerpts from the DOJ lawsuit. I have not had a chance to dive through the full thing. But some interesting stuff on the super apps that Eamon was just mentioning. This lawsuit doesn't appear to go after the App Store directly as a whole. Instead, it's focusing on the super apps that Eamon was describing. We've seen this lawsuit between Epic Games and Apple kind of play out through the courts and basically kind of answered the question about Apple's App Store policies, the fees it charges, and so on and so forth, being the only exclusive way to download software to the iPhone. We've seen what happened with that in Europe, but that doesn't seem, at least right now, based on these excerpts I have, that doesn't seem to be what the DOJ is chasing. They're not proposing here saying, there needs to be another kind of app store or anything like that. I would also point to the messaging thing. I know Eamon talked about this a little bit, but basically making the argument that by keeping iMessage sort of exclusive and degrading maybe the regular text message experience, that is anti-competitive. They use an example of what if you buy your kids an Android phone and you can't really talk to them as seamlessly as you could if you bought them an iPhone and things like that. And also the cloud streaming apps. This is another concession we've seen Apple make in the European Union, allowing services like Microsoft's Xbox cloud streaming service on those devices. So that could be one potential easy concession. Same with the payments. They made the same concession in the EU already, letting third-party apps access that near-field communication chip for those tap-to-pay mobile payments guys. So a little bit of difference between what the EU is attacking Apple for and what we're seeing here in this DOJ case. But, of course, we got to read through the whole thing, guys.
Although last week, I think when we talked to Margaret Vestager of the EU, she didn't rule out that they would be looking into a potential violation for Apple on the Digital Markets Act with some of the concessions they've made that might not go all the way, especially if they still continue to impose fees. I guess, Steve, the biggest question investors are going to have with the stock down 2.5% is what does it mean for the growth of the services business, which has been a strong grower.
And that's why the App Store thing is so important here, because, again, I'm not seeing them really call out the App Store. This is what's been pointed at so much. If you want to download an app to your iPhone, you only have one choice, and that's the Apple App Store. It doesn't seem like they're saying that here, which is the opposite of what we've seen in the EU, where Apple has to allow other app stores onto the phone. I don't see that here. I just see them talking about these super apps and these cloud streaming apps and messaging apps. So if they go in a more full way against the App Store the way the EU has, there's the services business. The App Store is massively lucrative for Apple, very high margin business, of course, largely due to the fees that they collect from the other developers. That's been the main complaint. So I can see, the Spotifys and the Matches and other antagonists of Apple throughout this whole process. I can see them being less than happy with this lawsuit.
All right, Steve, stay close as we monitor the Justice Department there in the window next to you, waiting for the announcement.